Hey everybody, we're here just to show you a little bit about the Hapara Teacher Dashboard. That's going to enable you to manage your classroom. First thing you need to do is launch your web browser and go to teacherdashboard.com. You can type that in, add a bookmark, or add it to your favorites so it's easy to get to. If you are logged in with your FCS Google account, you will automatically be brought into the teacher dashboard. If not, make sure that you are logged in with your FCS Google account. You'll see each of the classes that you are designated as teacher in the portal here automatically. To go into that class, you'll just click on it. And the sharing tab opens, which is where you can see each of your students' contents of their Google Drive. You can see all of their documents here on this link, as well as you can see what they have actually shared with external sources, external persons outside of SCS, what they've shared publicly, as well as any documents that are unshared. But you can view their Drive contents here, and also what they have placed in the trash on their Google Documents to maybe help locate documents or just view the contents of their Drive at any time. On this screen, you can also rearrange each of these student windows to match the seating charts in your room, or just whatever layout you prefer, so that you can locate students easily while you're in that classroom session. Next to the sharing tab, the highlights tab is really where a lot of the magic happens in monitoring what students are actually doing while they're in class. The first tab that you're brought to under highlights is the browser tab window. This will show you any tabs that the student currently has open on their Chromebook. A word about the highlights portion of the teacher dashboard. There is a little bit of a latency between the information that you see and what's actually happening on the Chromebook. It can take just a couple seconds for the current tabs to show up, but you do have the ability to view the tabs that are open. You also have the ability to close those particular tabs. So that student right there is browsing Yahoo. If I don't want them to browse on Yahoo, we can close that tab just by clicking on the X, and it does close that tab on the student's machine. You also have options here in the dashboard on the shortcut menu of each student to open a tab for a particular student, send a message, email them, or place them into groups if you choose to do so. We can open a tab for a student from that menu. So here I'm going to open a tab for that particular student to Wikipedia. If I type in the address, press enter, you can open up multiple tabs at one time. Just type in the address and hit enter, and then click the open tabs button. You can see there that it does open up both Wikipedia and Google for that particular student. You do have the ability to also do that for groups of students if you set your students up in groups, or for the entire class. So now we're going to open a tab by selecting the whole class button at the top and then clicking in the URL box, and we're going to enter a web address that we want to open for the entire class. Press enter after you enter the URL for the site, and then click the open tabs button. And in just a matter of a couple seconds, you'll see that Khan Academy is now open for all students that are active in the class. One of the best features of highlights, in my opinion, is being able to focus student browsing while they're in your class. You can click the focus button here at the top, and you'll see some options to limit students browsing to a particular website, to specific pages, and also a time limit, and the option to restore their tabs after they're done. So what we can do is here at the top, we can enter a URL of a website. Let's do Khan Academy. Enter that URL. We'll set to leave them available to browse the entire site for 10 minutes, and we'll leave the option checked to restore the tabs that they have open now after they're done, and click Open Tabs. What that's going to do, it'll give you a countdown to make sure you want to do that. Just let it go, so it will send the command. It's going to open Khan Academy for each student in that class and close all of their other tabs that they have open. It'll also give you a timer and a status there at the top of the site that is currently active for focused browsing, as well as a time period that's left on the time limit that you set. Again, it may take just a few seconds for a student's status to update here in the highlights window to verify that they are on Khan Academy only. Again, you can check the status of your focused browsing here at the top, view the sites that you have focused, again the time limit that's remaining, and if you want to end that focused session prematurely, you can just click the Close Tabs button. It will unlock those students and restore any tabs that they had open previous to the focused browsing session. You also do have the ability to view what's on the student screens at any particular time while they're in your class. While monitoring their tabs and what they have open at the moment is most likely sufficient for most classroom management scenarios, sometimes you do want to see what's actually on the student screen in case the name of the tab that they have open currently is ambiguous, or just to get a better view of what's going on the student's Chromebook. Just a word of advice on the current screen's functionality in highlights. Since sending a screenshot of their current screen across the internet to the teacher dashboard is somewhat of a heavy lifting job and does require more bandwidth than just viewing what tabs they have open, there can be a delay of what you see in the teacher dashboard as opposed to what they have on their screen sometimes. You do have a button in the upper right hand corner that allows you to refresh the view at any time. You can click here at any time to refresh the current screen tabs that are open for your students. It doesn't do this automatically, again, because it does require some considerable bandwidth to send those screens across the internet into the teacher dashboard. So doing that on an ongoing basis would quickly eat up a lot of our internet resources. So just keep in mind that if you are viewing the current screen functionality within highlights, you may have to click that refresh button to get a completely up-to-date view of the tabs that are open on students' Chromebooks. The Activity Viewer panel in Highlights gives you a snapshot of the internet activity of your students in your class at a quick glance. You have class-wide activity graphed according to their current status or past browsing status. You also have unique activity that will list individual sites and the time frame at which those sites were browsed during the class session. And lastly, the Class Info tab at the top will list all of the students that are currently rostered in your class, as well as give you quick access to email the entire class via the button at the top, and also open the class folder. Hapara automatically sets up a shared class folder for each class and for each student that's enrolled in that class automatically. Students can view and contribute to those folders based on whatever sharing permissions you set, should you choose to share your information here outside of Canvas. So I hope this has been a good overview of the Hapara Highlights classroom management solution. If you have any questions about Highlights, feel free to reach out to your instructional partner or the tech department, and we'll answer any questions you might have. Thanks, and have a great year.
you.